Right, today we are going to talk about the new spec GCSE Chemistry AQA 8462. So just make sure you get that right. It's from the 2016 onwards specification. Atoms, elements and compounds. So a very simple session talking about atoms, elements and compounds. So this is the sub specification, so it's 4.11, and the first thing we're going to look at is atoms, elements and compounds. So here's an atom, here's some elements, and here's a compound. What is an atom? Here we go. Basic unit of matter. So everything's made of atoms, right? Remember, we have a nucleus, we have protons, electrons. There is a separate video on this if you want to go back and have a look at that to just show you the composition of an atom. But for this purpose, all we need to know is everything is made up of atoms. So if we have hydrogen atoms, okay, hydrogen, that means we have millions of atoms of hydrogen only. If we have chlorine atoms, we have only chlorine atoms. Okay, so that kind of defines what an atom is. But if we want to look and move on to elements, again we will find over 102 elements in the periodic table, right? And examples, you need to know the first 20. So you move on from hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, and you move on okay, to argon. Now each element is made up of only one type of atom. That's what you need to know. So for example, we mentioned neon, which is in group 8. Okay, it is only made up of one type of atom, one type, and that is the neon atom. So if we were to look at this in a box structure like so, and each circle represented an atom, okay, like so, each one of these would be a neon atom, and that's what makes an element. An element is only made up of one type of atom. So if we, for example, chose fluorine, which is in group 7, it would only contain one type of atom, and that would be the fluorine atom. Might be millions of them atoms, but it's fluorine only. Now moving on to compounds. Okay, now you can see here the example given is sodium, which is Na, group 1. Okay, it's a metal, and if we add chlorine, we are producing sodium chloride. So only sodium atoms, only chlorine atoms, when they chemically join together to form a new compound, which is sodium chloride, it becomes something new. New compound, new properties. If you look at sodium, it's a metal. If we look at chlorine, it's a gas. When they combine together, we make a salt, sodium chloride, which is actually table salt, which we use on our chips and food, etc. Okay, so when two elements or more combine chemically to make a new substance which is different from its original elements, a new compound is formed with new properties, and that's what we refer to as a compound. Okay, now let's move on and assess ourselves. Let's see how much we've actually learned. So here's an exam question. The Earth's atmosphere today contains nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide and small percentages of other gases. Okay, draw one line from each substance to a description of the substance. So air, which is the atmosphere, is it a compound, element, hydrocarbon, metal, mixture? Carbon dioxide, again, what is it in terms of description? And argon. Now looking at some of these, we know what a compound is, we know what an element is, we're not sure about what an hydrocarbon is, we should know what a metal is and should have some understanding of what a mixture is. So the way I would approach this right now is, let's look at what we've learned. So air, as the question suggests, is a mixture of different gases. So it has nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, etc., etc. Now, is that a compound? No. Is it combined? No, it's a mixture. So I would suggest going with the mixture. Okay, carbon dioxide. Now this is certainly two elements joined together chemically. So that's carbon and oxygen, like so, right? Now these are two elements chemically combined together to make a new compound. So we would say it's a compound. And argon, again, it's in the periodic table, so that automatically suggests it is an element. Okay, there we go. Now just for your knowledge, a hydrocarbon is just a compound that has hydrogen and carbon covalently bonded to it, but this is something we'll talk about later. And a metal is just a metal, right? That's over and out for today, and see you again in the next one.